Good morning, my dear viewers. How are you? I hope you are well positioned today, like as me. Today, I have come in front of you with another very interesting topic. I think this topic will be very helpful, very, I think, beneficial our present generation. Today, according to our observation, more than 50% of the population of the world are uneducated and illiterate. So it became a question for us: why are more than half of the population are illiterate and uneducated? Because according to our observation and opinion, our education has so many opponents and enemies and challenges. For this reason, our education cannot go forward very speedily, cannot be developed very speedily. For this reason, most of the population of the world are illiterate and uneducated. Even in our opinion, in our observation, most of the youth, most of the students don't know what are the opponents, what are the challenges, what are the enemies of education. So even to avoid, we have to know them. What are the enemies of? What are the enemies of our education? Then we will be able to refrain. We will be able to defeat them. If we don't know, how can we defeat? How can we fight against them? So even to be familiar, to be aware for the present generation today, I have made a lesson for you from my experiences. Then I hope it will be very helpful for our present generation. So I have chosen some points which are main, I think, opponents, main challenges, main enemies of our education. I hope if our present generation know these points, I think they will be able to fight against the opponent of the education. So for this reason here, even as a first line, I have chosen shame and shyness. Shame and shyness is a big. I think shame and shyness is a big. I think also opponent and challenges of education. Even I have seen most of the students have stopped their education by, I think, by shaming, I think, by shamefully. For example, even today, so many people have access and power, time to study education, but shamefully they don't study education. But they themselves do not know. I think shame and shyness are opponent and challenges and enemies of education. If they knew, I think they would be able to fight against them. Number two, anger. Even anger is also a kind of our opponent of education. Even I have seen so many students has stopped education by quarreling with their parents, with their friends, with their teachers at the school. Because if even they don't know, their anger is a kind of opponent of education. So for this reason, they fail to fight against the anger. Even when we are angry, we should not make any resolution. When we are angry, at that time, our mind doesn't work well. At that time, our mind will not be able to choose better resolution for us. So this is nobody should make any decision when they are angry. We should take time. We should consider and contemplate very, I think, bitterly after taking time. Then our decision will be correct. Number three, more friends. Suppose if a student has so many friends, more than 20 friends, he will not be able to spend his time on education because if a student has, suppose, 20 friends, this 20 friend will always disturb. Someone will call, someone will invite, someone will gossip, someone will text, someone will message. I think even as a friend also he has responsibility to reply. Suppose at that time he will not have time to spend on his education. We have to very carefully understand like this. When we are a student, if we have more friends at that time, we will not be able excel and smart educated people because our valuable time will be consumed by our friends. So also another one is girlfriends. Even today, most of the, for example, girlfriends are very, I think, risky for the education. Even If a student has more than, I think, two, three girlfriends, this girlfriend will surely, I think, distract him. Some of them will bite, some of them will, I think, so tag, some of them will message. I think at that time he will have to spend his time for that. For example, at that time he will not be able to spend his time on his lesson, on his education. So his education will be quicker than before. So when we are a student, we must very take care. We should not have more friends. We should not have girlfriends. This is our very important time to invest for our next time. Even we fail to invest our time in education, I think at the end of our time, at the end of our life, we will not be able to do anything, to achieve anything. You have to very carefully, I think, understand this lesson. Number four, excitement. Even, for example, excitement. When most of a student, I think, if you want to be a smart and excellent educated person, you should control your excitement. Suppose I would like to go to a student would like to go football match, would like to go and watch football match, and this kind of zoo, different types of thing. I think different types of playing. I think even a student should visit somewhere to gain knowledge and to get experiences. But weekly cannot visit. Monthly, if a student would like to visit to anywhere, monthly they can visit for to gain experiences for any other different, not for any other different purpose. Also, this is also a kind of our responsibility to suppress our emotion, our excitement. Number five, usiness and income generation activities. Usiness means when we are a student, at that time we must refrain all kinds of income generation activities and using because if we put our head in the business, our head will not stay at education. At that time, our education will be weaker because I have heard most of the students said, no, we have been learning education for money, to earn money. Without education, if we can earn money, what is education for? Maybe some of the students have been talking, I have heard by my own ear. But this is not I think this is not acceptable. We have been learning our education not to earn money, just to distinguish and differentiate right and wrong, true and false. If we don't know how to choose right and wrong, true or false, we'll be in wrong decision. When we'll be in wrong decision, at that time we'll be at risk. We have to understand that. At that time, when we will lose our all property and everything our earning. So number six, politics. Politics is also a kind of opponent and challenges and enemies of our education. When we are a student, we should not put our hand in politics. When I have been seeing some of the students have been participating in their political activities. So this is not acceptable. If we put our head in the politics, then our mind will not stay. Our mind will not be stable in education. So at that time, our education will be weaker than before. So we have to very carefully understand politics is a kind of also opponent and challenges and enemies of our education. So depression, number seven, depression. When 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 a student are depressed, at that time most of the student decide I think but decide to stop education. I think also when people are depressed at that time they don't want to do anything. So we must clearly understand this. There is nobody over the world without depression, without tension, without trauma, without agony, I think without stress, without distress. If everybody can go over, why we cannot? Even when as a student, when we are a student, at that time we have to keep aside. We have to keep all depression, all trauma, all agony, all everything, keep it aside. We have to go to our lesson. We have to study deeply according to our routine plan. So I hope, I think this Seven point will be very if 7 point will be very useful and very helpful for our present generation. I think by seeing this 7 point, I think our next generation will be able to fight against them. The one who can fight against them, he will be able to be excellent and very good educated people over the world. Education is weapon. We don't need any property. We don't need anything if we have education. When we'll have education, everything will be ours. When we'll have no education, and at the time we will lose everything. Thank you so much. I hope this lesson will be very effective for our present generation. Thank you for your watching.